Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. So I am Chewy, or aka Mr. Porkchop. A lot of my earlier videos, I go by that. Today's video is going to be basically an overview of everything I have learned related to OBS and DaVinci Resolve and video editing and recording. Um, so yeah, this is a video that I've kind of wanted to make for a while. There's so much information in here. I probably could have broke this video down into like 50 different videos, but I'm pretty pressed for time lately, and I haven't been able to put out that many videos. I put out a video maybe like once a month if I'm lucky. So I wanted to just pack as much information into this video as I can. I will go through and try to chapter this video for you guys so that you guys will be able to easily jump around and kind of get to the points that you want to learn, and skip over the stuff that maybe you already know. So that being said, before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you guys would smash that subscribe button, and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost halfway there, and I really appreciate the support. If you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. Also appreciate you guys liking the video and dropping comments. Any comments that you guys leave, I will reply to for sure. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I got for the intro, guys. Let's get into it. So I use OBS Studio. It's free. You can download it. I'll add the link to their site as well in the video. And pretty much when you go into OBS, you can create different scenes basically. And you can see I have a bunch of different scenes here. Most of these I actually use for streaming. You can hook up OBS to Twitch, and you can do your streaming here as well. But I'll show you guys pretty much how to like create a scene real quick and how to add different sources to it and set you guys up. So basically, to add a scene, you should have your scene option here. If you don't have all the different windows that I have here, there's a bunch of different docks here too. So like you can click on them and it'll open up this, and you'll be able to move it around. Same thing if like you accidentally close one of these, like we closed stream chat or controls or scenes or sources or whatever. If you lose one of those, you can click on docs here, and then you can just click on it, and it'll open up, and then you can kind of move it around and resize it, and you can format this whole thing to however you want. This is how I have mine set up, but you guys can set it up for however you want it. So yeah, basically what you can do is you can click on add a scene. You can name your scene whatever you want. So for this one, we'll call it test scene. What do you, Autumn? You didn't even ask anything. What do you want? Anyway, we'll call this one test scene. And then pretty much you'll have your scene here. It's a blank scene. There's absolutely nothing in it. And then as you can basically just add sources to your scene. So that's how you add whatever window you want. So you can click on this little plus sign here inside your scene window, and you can add anything you want. You can add an audio input capture, which will be for like a microphone. You can add that for your main microphone, or if you have multiple microphones, you can add different things. You can add application audio, and then you can add display captures or game captures, even images, media sources. Like if you have a video, you want a looping video, you can put media source in. You can even add in a whole scene to another scene, and I'll give you an example of where you might use this in a second. You can add in text. So if you want a text to show up like over your video or whatever you want, you can add that in there. Video capture device. So like we could add in a video capture device. If you've already added them, it'll show up here in your existing ones. You can see I already added my webcam. So like I'm just going to go ahead and click on add existing. I can click on that, and then it'll give you your webcam. And then what you can do is you can shrink it down and rotate it and do whatever you want with it. Move it around inside of your scene here. And then let's say you wanted to actually show one of your monitors. Then you could go up to a display capture. If you're trying to record a specific game and you're afraid that you don't want to watch, like for like streaming purposes, if you want to stream a game but you want to make sure that like when you're tabbing in and out, no one in your stream is seeing your desktop, then I would go with game capture, and then you can pick a specific application to stream. But if you're just recording, you can go ahead and just do display capture, and then again you can have existing ones. I have two different monitors, but I only have my main monitor that I ever record on. So again, you can just click on that. Or maybe for this one, I'll create a new one and I'll just call this like test monitor. And then you can see here, you can click on either one of your monitors. So my primary monitor or my secondary monitor. And then from there, you can just select it. I'm going to close this for now, though. I'm going to discard it. That's weird. So did not discard it. All right, well, whatever. Let's remove that for now. And then I'm just going to add in my actual monitor. So existing one, main monitor, we'll add that. All right, boom. And now you can see, like, when I added my main monitor, it covered up the webcam. Like, this will always be in the order from, like, top to bottom. So if you want something to, like, let's say I want my webcam to lay over my monitor, you have to drag it up to the top here. And then, boom, you have your webcam and you have your monitor showing. One useful thing that you might want to do if you are doing tutorials like I'm doing and you have, like, sections where you want to actually zoom in on something, you know, then what you can do is you can actually add in like your main monitor twice. But let's say we did like display capture. Autumn, hold on 1 second, okay? Hold on, just. So let's say that we did this like main monitor zoom, right? You can click on that and we will pick the same monitor. Press OK. I want to make sure I'm stretching the right one. All right, that's our main one. That's our webcam. Webcam is still going to go on top of everything, but our zoom is going to go above our other one. Okay. Wow. All right. Anyway, this is what I was trying to show. So like this obviously shows like this top really large. So you have like this section. So like it works good if you're like doing coding or something, or if you're like working in Visual Studio or something, and you have a section, like usually like one portion, the top right corner, the top left corner of your screen is usually where most of the code is written. So what you can do is you can have this open, you can be recording, and then you can easily just like hide this and it'll show like the full screen. And then if you want to just like really quickly zoom in on a section of the screen, you can come over here and just like click on this, and then boom, it zooms in on that section of the screen. And then if you need to like move this around again, like you can do that live while you're doing it. But it's just an easy way to kind of get like one section of your screen zoomed in if you need to for a video. And then pretty much a webcam and main monitor is really all you need outside of, like I said, the audio capture device. So you're gonna want like an actual microphone. You can see here I have a couple different existing ones. I have like my recording mic, desk mic, headset, all kinds of stuff. And that's just because I have a bunch of different microphones and headsets that I have. But yeah, you guys get the idea. You add it in here, and that's pretty much all you need. Now, like I was saying here with this scene, you can add a whole scene. I have nested audio over here. Nested audio is something like it's a scene basically that just has a whole bunch of audio. And the reason I did this is for streaming purposes. So when I stream, it will stream this nested audio scene is inside my other main scene that I stream with. But all of these are basically in one place. So it just makes a real easy way for you to nest all of your audio into one scene, and then you can drag that scene into wherever you want it while you're streaming. And another useful thing for this is you can use, like, let's say you have music, right? One other thing I'll show you guys real quickly that is good to know, especially if you're going to be streaming. If you go into the settings and you look at, I believe it's output. So you have your audio track on 1, and where is this option? Aha, here it is. Okay, sorry guys. So yeah, if you have your audio mixer up here, what you can do is you can disable certain audio on different tracks. And you notice if when I went into my settings earlier, that the audio track 1 is my output audio. So that's the one that gets recorded. And you notice that my music does not um, exist on track 1. So track 1 is unchecked for music. And the reason for this is like when you're streaming music on YouTube or on Twitch, it's fine to like stream music while you're live, but for your recordings, you'll get copyright issues if you try to publish a video or of you streaming or of audio streaming with music that, you know, if you're using Amazon Prime or something, if you're listening to any type of music that has copyrights on it, like you don't want that recorded on your streams, or you won't be able to publish those streams after the fact. So that's just another thing to be aware of in this. That again relates more to streaming than recording. Not a whole lot you really have to worry about inside of settings. Like the settings are pretty straightforward. When it comes to output, you can adjust. You can adjust basically, where your videos are going to go and what kind of like quality they're going to be here. You can mess with all this stuff if you want. I kept it pretty much. I'm pretty sure I kept it like exactly how it was. I haven't really messed with any of the settings. Like, I haven't had to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna remove this test scene. But yeah, this is Blackmagic Design. This is DaVinci Resolve's website. Here you can, I'll leave this link in the description. Like I said, you can go here and you can download it for free. I am using the paid version, and when I bought this, it was a little weird. So if you download the free version, right, and you're using it, you might run into the issue where you try to use an option and it says like, oh, this is only available in the paid version, and then I think it leaves you a link that says like you'll buy now or something, and it brings you to this weird place on the website where it shows like what the heck is it? I don't know. It shows like basically like different places you can go to buy it and gives you like phone numbers, but it doesn't give you like an actual like link or download, so you can't actually just buy it online. I don't know why they don't just bring you directly to this link, because this link you can click on and then you can buy it online just like any other product. So like I said, I'll leave that first link here. You guys can easily buy it. If you're like me and you try out the free version for a while and then you end up buying it later on, just be aware that like if you download the free version you buy it, when you buy it you'll get like a product key basically. They'll email it to you so you'll be able to use it right away, but you need to basically re-download the software. And what's weird is like you need to click on the free download to download the paid version. So the DaVinci Resolve Studio, the Studio is the paid version and this is the free version. So like you can download both of them, and both download links are connected to this free download, which doesn't make sense to me. So just be aware of that. If you download this one for free, then it's not going to ask you for that product key. If you download this one, when you open it, it'll ask you for that product key. And then you can put in your product key, and then you'll get access to the full suite of their stuff. Like they have a lot of additional features. One feature in particular I will showcase at the end of this video when I'm talking about YouTube Shorts, which was the reason that I ended up buying DaVinci Resolve, because I wanted access to that feature. And like I said, it was kind of worth it to me just because I've been making a lot of different content and there's a lot of additional things that you can get with the paid version. But if you're just starting out and you just want to make, you can do a lot with the free version. Like you probably will never really need the paid version unless you just, have the money like I did and really wanted access to some of the cool features that the paid version offers. But most of what I go over in this tutorial you'll still be able to follow along even with the free version up until, like I said, the end when I talk about YouTube Shorts and removing backgrounds from videos. That section is going to be using a feature that is only in the paid version. So just be aware of that. So yeah, first getting started. when you open up DaVinci Resolve, you'll basically go right to this section here where you can create a project. And there might be some additional setup to, I honestly don't remember because I've had this for so long, but I do believe like there's some initial setup when you open it up that kind of, I think, asks you where you want your projects to be saved and all that stuff. So just select like the drive and the location you want it to be saved at. And you can click like an untitled project here to start a new one, or like you see here, I have like a whole bunch of projects here that I started. You can start basically from um, you can start from a different place. Usually what I do is like once I get a project going, I just reuse it. So for like this one, this was like one of my last videos I made. I would usually just start from here, um, and then just continue and save it as a different name. You can see here, like this is my intro, which I have already set up. This is actually, I think, just a recording of my intro. But let's just go, for the sake of it, starting a new project. So like I could have just clicked on that untitled, but for now we'll click on just a brand new project. We'll call this just test for now. So this is essentially what you should see when you open up a brand new project in DaVinci Resolve. And it may look a little different depending on where, you know, what's selected. Maybe you have effects open or something like that. But the two things that you'll be working with the most really are going to be the media pool here and like effects here. And then at the bottom, you have a couple different options here. So this is the edit tab, which is pretty much the main tab that I work in, and that you guys will be in. And then the other ones to be aware of are like this fusion tab, which we're not going to do too much in because I'll kind of highlight that a little later on. But the fusion tab is kind of where you can start adding cool effects and controlling like what the effects do. There's a million tutorials out there if you want to get really in depth with that stuff, but I'm going to be doing very basic stuff here. And then the last one that I'll talk about over here is your the render tab. Basically, when you're finished with your video, you'll come here and then you'll name your video, make sure that the formatting's right, and then you add it to your render queue and you click render, and that will give you the video at the end. So those are the three kind of things to be aware of once you start a new project. And from here, it's basically as simple as just dragging in the video that you want. That's usually what I do, is I'll just go and grab my video, drag it right in. If you go to your project settings here, you can see all the different settings, and you'll have your frame rate, your resolution, and this is where you can kind of see where you're working from, so you can like again adjust like where all your clips are being saved and all that good stuff. I'm not going to change anything right now because I wanted to show something. When you grab a video, and you can either drag it into your pool, or you can just drag it right down here. When you drag it in, if it's a different frame rate than what you currently have set, then it'll basically tell you, be like, hey, the clips have different frame rates than the project. You want to change your timeline frame rate, and you can just click change. And then at that point, if you go back into your project settings, you'll see that like, hey, it changed the frame rate to 60, and you know, so it'll basically tell you if your video doesn't align with your project settings, and then you can just change it to align with whatever your clip does. So from there, you basically have your video in your media pool here, and I believe you can let me see here. I'm pretty sure you can create like new folders and stuff. Create bin with selected clip. Yeah, I mean, you can create different bins. So like if you have a bunch of different clips and things are getting a little disorganized, you can definitely try to organize them inside here. I usually only deal with a few clips at a time, so it's not really that big of a deal, especially if I name them better. This one obviously I didn't name, but you can just name them so you know which ones they are. And then if you have multiple clips, you can drag them around, and they'll all be in here. And then once you bring them down here, you can actually start editing them. So we'll go over some of the basic editing things that that you can do. And as you can see here, I have like a two clips. I have one on top of each other. So basically how that works is you can kind of stack them. Yeah, let's see this one here. So yeah, you can like stack clips on top of each other. So you can see like this is my actual video, and then it gets to this. Whatever is like it, as you stack them, it's gonna show the one above first. So like this one is gonna take priority over this one, and vice versa. So just be aware of that. Some of the things also too, if like these stay in your media pool, like once you bring them into the project, they'll stay in your media pool even if you don't have them down here and you're not editing them. And then if you like remove them from your editing pool, it'll show up like this, like red, like, oh, I can't find that media anymore. Also, if for some reason you have a clip in your project like this one, and then you have it saved in a specific place over here, if you take this and you delete it from here, or you move it into another folder, that will turn red as well, because it won't be able to find it. The path, the file path is going to be different, and it's going to lose track of that file. So just be aware of that. If you have clips inside of DaVinci Resolve projects that you want to stay there, don't move them around. Or if you do move them around, just be aware you're going to have to drag them back in your project so that they can find them again. Yeah, so now some of the most common things that I do with videos is just cut them. Like I cut out all of the sections of the video that I don't want, and I remove that section. And for that, you can use this tool right here. This is your little blade, which will cut the video wherever this is. And then you can move here and you can cut a section out. Then you can go back to your selector. You select this. You want to hit backspace, not delete, because if you hit delete, delete can sometimes delete more than what you want, you know. I always feel best using backspace, just to be safe, because if you hit delete, sometimes it deletes like what's before it. So I usually just use backspace. You can use delete if you want, but just be aware it may delete more than what you want. No. So yeah, and you also notice like the difference between delete and backspace. If you click backspace, it just deletes the clip out and it leaves this empty space. Whereas if you click delete, it removes everything and compresses everything down. So depending on what you want, if you want to delete this and add something else in there, great. Or if you don't, you want the clips to close up, you can press delete. Also, if for some reason you're like, all right, I pressed backspace, but now I still don't want this space here, you can either just click on it and press backspace and delete it, or just click on it and right click, delete ripple, whatever. That will remove that space for you. And then the other thing that you can use if you're trying to put different clips together and you want to have a nice little transition, you can go to effects over here and then video transitions. So video transitions here has pretty much a bunch of different transitions, and again, some of them will be locked depending if you have the free version or the paid version, but either way you'll have some options. And then these ones you can just drag right onto this little space, and you can adjust the length of them and all that, but it'll basically cover this little part that you cut. And then as you're watching it, you'll see like that little transition happens. So it's like a cool little animation that can happen between clips, which is fun. So I use that quite a bit. And again, it's really something easy to do. The other thing that I do a lot with videos is adjusting like the volume of the video, or even just removing audio. So you'll notice when you drag a video in that like when you select this, it selects both the audio and the video, because these two pieces are linked. So what you can do here is you can right click and you can click on this link clips. That will delink them. And then if you want to remove the audio completely, you can just click on the audio and you can just remove it. and then you can add in whatever audio you want, music or whatever. But if you don't want to do that, and if you want to relink clips again, you can click this, control, click this, and then just click link clips. It'll relink them. You definitely want to try to keep videos, or keep the audio and the video linked as much as possible, because that way it like doesn't go out of sync. So yeah, definitely keep the clips linked as much as you can. But like I said, and some instances, I just want to remove the audio. If you don't want to remove the audio, but you want to adjust maybe like the volume of it, you can click on these links, or click on these clips, even if they're linked, and you can come up to your inspector over here. And in the inspector, you have your video and your audio. So you can click on audio, and then you can adjust the volume from there. So yeah, I do that on some clips. Some clips I put together, one's like lower than the other, or one's higher than the other. So I try to match them up. Or if I put music on top of my videos, which I may even do with this one, I can adjust the volume of the music so that it's not too loud and you can still hear my voice and all that other good stuff. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so we went over most of that. The other thing that I'll show you, if you guys start adding a bunch of videos in here, you might notice that like this gets pretty long, and sometimes it can be kind of a pain to keep track of your video clips. This little bar over here will shrink or expand it, so like you can see like, all right, if you have long clips, you can shrink it down, and then it's easier to keep track of them. Or if you have really short clips, you can like zoom in so it's like easier to see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then this one, like you can adjust these, and then if you have multiple layers, you can just use your scroll wheel to scroll up and down and actually see them. Outside of that, let's see. Whoops. Always Control Z is always good as well. Control Z undoes things. I mean, you guys probably know that, but we'll throw that out there just in case, because I use that quite a bit. Also, Control S, save, if you want to save your project during, which I do suggest saving along the way, because I've had a couple times where like I did a bunch of editing and then it crashed, which is unfortunate. But the other thing you might want to do, like in this case here, let's say I have this clip on top of another clip, but it's covering it all. Like maybe I don't want it to cover it all, so you can adjust basically the size of it. Up here in this window, you can go to transform or crop. Like I said, fusion overlay as well, but we're not going to get too much into that. If you want to just move it around, you can click on the transform, and then you can like shrink it down, you can turn it, you can move it all around the screen. Basically, do whatever you really want with the clip, and then that way you'll be able to actually see that on top of this. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want it like that. So then you can press play, and it should play both videos at the same time. So that's pretty much, yeah, the transform tool is a really useful tool, so definitely keep an eye on that one. And let's see, the other thing that I do quite a bit is add text to my videos. So like, let's say that you want to add like subtitles, or maybe just like you made a mistake in your video, you don't want to re-record, so you throw in a text that says, hey, I said this, but I meant this. Do that quite a bit too, so you can find that in effects as well. And you can go down to tiles, I believe. Is it tiles? Yeah, text. So tiles, text, and you can just drag text right onto your video. You can adjust the length of how long the text will be visible. So basically, as long as this is how long the text will stay there. Up in your inspector, you can adjust what it says, and you can adjust like the size of it. You can adjust the color of it. You can make it whatever you want. And then let's see, down here there's a whole bunch of options. Basically, you can do quite a bit with it. Honestly, I usually just kind of like drop it in there, and then that's it. And then you can drag it around. If you just grab it and drag it, it doesn't really have it'll kind of just like lock in places here if you want it centered. This is kind of a good way if you want it in like a specific location that's like that's centered, or it'll snap to these places here. But if you want it in like like a really specific place, again, you can go down to the transform of it, and you can like rotate it, you can drag it exactly where you want it. There's definitely a much more fine tuning effect there if you want to do that. So again, transform is your friend. And that's pretty much it for text options. Another thing that I do quite a bit is, let's say you get to a specific place in your video and you want to basically freeze the frame and then say something and then resume the video. The way you do that is you just use your little cutting tool here. You cut right in the video where you want the frame to stop, and then you can hit right on the arrow key. No, it'll move one frame over, and then you can cut again. And like obviously if you look at that, like you can barely even see it. You can't even like click on it, and that's where this comes in. Like just zoom in as much as possible, and then you'll be able to see that one frame. Then you can click on this and you can right click and go to change clip speed, and then you just click freeze frame. So once you click freeze frame, that frame is frozen and you can drag it out. And if you drag it out right here, this is all still one frame, but it's one frame that'll span like over a few seconds. And then from there, you know, you can drag in your text, or you can drag in a video if you want like a little video clip to play. Maybe you want to like whatever you want to do during that one frozen frame, you can do. So I use that quite a bit for like my YouTube shorts, and I'll kind of show you how I use that later. All right, so if you go, let's say you opened up a brand new project again, right? And inside your project settings, what you want to do is basically adjust this timeline resolution. You want to flip it. So mine's 1920 by 1080. You want it 1080 by 1920. And that's really all you need to do for YouTube shorts, is just flip that around. So where is 1080? All right, I think I need to make it custom. I think I can just put it here. So we'll do 1080, 1920. There we go. So 1080 by 1920, we can save that. And then boom, now you'll see that your timeline here has changed. It's now showing your the vertical picture as you would see on your phone. You can hit control and scroll wheel in here if you want to kind of move things around, so you can see everything, or you can just hit the scroll wheel to like zoom in and out. As long as you can see the whole thing, it's pretty good. But you'll see here, like this video, obviously you can barely see it. If you like up here, if you click on the video and then go to your inspector, go to video, you can adjust the zoom of it, and you can zoom it back down to where you can actually see what's going on. You can also go up here and just like remove selected clip. So if you don't want that clip, you can remove it. And you can drag one in. There's me. And when it comes to YouTube shorts and the different formatting, like a lot of the videos that you're going to have are going to be recorded in your 18 your 1080 or 1920 by 1080, right? So your videos are going to be like all horizontal, and you're trying to fit it on like a vertical screen. So in that case, a lot of the time what you can do is you can either like zoom it in to where like it fits. Also, if you don't want to see a clip right now, like this one is kind of like in the way, you can go up here and just click on this enable, and it'll disable that clip for now, so you don't have to worry about it. You can re-enable it later. And then right here, you can see like I shrunk it down. It's like, all right, cool. I can see my I can see myself here. And like I said, you can also just zoom it in so it fills in most of the screen. But then you still have these like black spaces at the top and bottom. And you guys have probably already noticed that a lot of people fill this space in with like a blurred version of what's already here. So what you guys can do to do that is, again, go to effects, and then up here, I usually just search for it, and I go, I think it's called, let me go up here for a sec, click on toolbox. Is it in effects maybe? Search effects. Open effects. Yeah, there we go. All right. So in open effects, blank filling. So again, like you said, I just search for it because I never can find the damn thing. But if you click on these eventually and just search for blank filling, you'll see it. And then with this, all you really got to do is drag it onto your clip. And then boom, you see it like fills in all the blank space with like this little blurred image of what you already have. And then if you want to make it a little pretty, you can go to your inspector over here. Once you add an effect to your video, you'll get this third option for effects. Like I said, you have the video, audio, and then effects now because we added blank filling. And then you can toggle that on and off. And then here on the sources, you can adjust like the different cropping. You can see how like it crops the right and left. Like I don't like that. I always make it so that it doesn't affects the sides. And then from there, you can adjust the actual blur of it. You can make it like really blurry or not blurry. Do whatever you want with it from there. Fade color, fade amount. Like there's all kinds of different options. Feel free to mess around with them as much as you want to kind of see what you like. And yeah, that's basically that's the main things that I use for YouTube Shorts. The other thing is to be cautious of when you go to export this. You'll see you have different exporting options here. If you're using a YouTube Short, you definitely want to use your custom export with the correct resolution to make sure that it actually exports it vertically. If you are using the other one and you want it to be like a normal YouTube video, you could literally just click on the YouTube over here and it'll give you like a pretty good setup for your video. Ultimately, you can go down and like change the formatting to be whatever you want. I normally use MP4 for the format. I think that's really all I really ever had to worry about, was like making sure that the format is MP4, and the rest of the stuff's usually fine as long as, like I said, the resolution is correct if you're using a YouTube short. So just check the formatting and then the resolution. Make sure the resolution matches up with the type of video you're doing, and make sure the format is what you want. Like I said, MP4 is what I use. And then after that, all you gotta do is title your video and click add to render queue, and it will render your video. Now, stepping back over here, one of the things that one of the main reasons that like I purchased DaVinci Resolve and wanted to, like, the main feature that I wanted basically from the paid version is something that they call what the heck is it? Where is it? Isn't it effects? Yeah, Magic Mask. So Magic Mask is one of the things that I really wanted. And I will show you why right now. So if we take this, just kind of zoom it in a bit. If I pull Magic Mask onto this right now, you'll see I get my effect, right? And I have my Magic Mask here. What you do with Magic Mask is basically you can remove the background from like a video. And the way it works is you add a stroke here. It's on add right now. You can just simply draw a line where you want this video, like what you want this video to keep. Okay, hold on, yeah. So what you want to do, like up here in your inspector, once you're here, you can go to click on this little Fusion tab. So you click on this Fusion tab, and then it brings you in basically to the Fusion view here, and then you have your ad, and it shows you a little ad wand. So you can basically just draw your little line on this dude. Let's say I want Mr. Krabs, and then from there you can click on better if you want, and it's going to basically track the crab. Whoops. So basically, when you have the ad, you want to kind of draw on what you want to see, and then you can also click on subtract, and you draw on what you don't want to see. And then from there, once you're kind of satisfied with the look of it, and I'm just holding the right arrow to kind of get to a different spot in the video because I want that red line gone. So like this is probably the better place to do it. So right here, I can like, again, draw on my lines to Mr. Crab, draw on his eyes, his hands. Whoops. All right, that's looking pretty good. And again, then you can click on subtract and remove that. Once you have it looking pretty good, what you can do is you hit this button right here, which is track forward, then reverse. And what it'll do is it'll go through basically the whole video, and it'll make sure that it only shows you what you want it to see. It'll like remove the background completely and just keep the areas that you want it to see. And the reason that I wanted to do this was because I really wanted to make some of those like meme clips where you're like, I'm gaming, and then all of a sudden like a little meme pops up and you get like that fun little effect. So like for this one, I used Mr. Krabs' Money 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 in one of my one of the clips that I made not too long ago. All right, so it looks like we're pretty much done. We can go back to the edit, and now you see that basically like you only see Mr. Krabs and not the background. And again, I like didn't clip this video at all, so like probably again it's not perfect. You got to go in and kind of clean it up a little bit. But for the most part, you'll only see the crab, which is what I was going for. And once you get it perfect, then like I said again, you can move these around. But this is the tricky thing that I didn't really, this is what kind of took me a second to learn. If you guys do end up going through and like buying it and getting this, and you get to this point and you want to move them around, if you just click on the transform here and you try to move them, you're going to notice like it's going to mess everything up. You're not going to actually be able to move the whole crab with the cutout. So in order to actually move them, you have to go back into your Fusion tab here, and what you need to do is again, you can hold Control and the mouse wheel to kind of move things. But what you need to do is you need to add your transform inside your Fusion tab. So you can just click on this to detach it, and then up here, this is your transform. So you click a transform, and I want it over here. Basically, you just have your template go into a transform, and then you have your transform go to your media out. And then if you select your transform here, this is where you can start to move them around. So if you want them on a different part of the screen, you can move them here. And then when you go back, like he'll be down here, and everything will work the way you want it to work. Money. So, yeah, some of the things that I've learned playing around with DaVinci Resolve. That should be like pretty much everything you guys really need to make a decent video in DaVinci Resolve. And like I said, there's a million tutorials out there. I've watched some too, and I think what I really should have done when I was watching all these videos, I should have put them all into a playlist. But I'll start doing that from now on, so you guys can keep an eye on my playlist. I'll probably have one for DaVinci Resolve tutorials to show you guys like some of the ones that I've used that are really fun and useful. But for the most part, I think that does it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys found it useful. I'd appreciate you guys subscribing if you haven't already, and liking this video. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys. I really enjoy being able to share the things that I learn with you guys.